except for the parts we made up.
Changed to protect the innocent.
We didn't change the guilty's names, though, because we don't care if they get lynched. Dragnet.
This is the city.
Very good, Joe. Now, can you tell
Los
me what
Angeles,
you put on
California.
your feet under your shoes?
I'm a cop. It was Tuesday, August 10th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Bunko Fugitive.
If
Beach.
any
My
day
friend,
made a
Frank,
move,
boss,
we would be
Jim,
on
Stan
him.
Brown. My name's Friday. I'd spent the morning in court testifying in a fraud case. It was 11:45 a.m. and I had to get
Somebody.
back to work.
I was the victim. Some guy told me I could buy a bridge in Brooklyn.
I'm telling you, you better do something about it. Get terrible when a citizen has a thing like this happen to him.
All right, Mr. Mather, take it easy. Tell us what it's.
I got a lot of friends in this town. I happen to know one of the councilmen real good. And if you don't clean this thing up, you're going to be walking the beat out in the plum thicket.
Oh,
Wait a minute. Here's
what?
my
What?
partner.
Wait.
Tell us
You
What?
ain't no partners. You get out there and
What? Take a breath.
Don't you come around here trying to smooth things over. I'm not going to be happy to them hoodlums are in jail, where they belong. I'm telling you, same as I told this fella, you do something about this, or I'm going to take it to the mayor.
What's the matter? I don't know. I'm trying to find out.
Well, what you going to do about it?
I don't know. I don't know what the problem is, you moron.
I got a light.
Ah, good.
What you gonna
These
do about
good, healthy
What
cigarettes.
you going to do?
Well, if you'd start right at the beginning and tell us what this is all about, maybe we can give you a hand here.
Well, there ain't a shoe shine in the world that's worth $5. I don't care what kind of wax they use. Not for $5, no sir.
Shoe shine?
Yeah.
$5.
Call it imported wax. Where they charge for it must be brought in from Timbuktu. Ridiculous.
I got the report, Joe. Yeah.
They take that match and they light
Oh
it.
no, we'll get right on this $5 fraud. I'm sure that's the most important thing the LAPD has on their plate right now.
Well, sir, I was on my way to work. Had a very busy day, a lot of important appointments.
Had to be
Bought
a
my car, and I
huge
was walking along
stereotype.
by this place. Fella standing there asked me if I wanted to shine. Just so happened I did, so I climbed in the chair. Climbed up
You
that thing.
didn't ask him how much the shine
Say, this isn't
cost
catching up.
first,
Tell
or
us how
look
little
for his
action is, then I'll have
sign?
questions.
We have to get the information, Mr. Mather. We'll pick up the men. Would you like to go on with your story, please?
Well, I was sitting there
Oh.
reading the paper, and the man asked me if I wanted imported wax. I wasn't paying a lot of attention. I guess I said yes. Next thing I know,
So
I think he's trying to get
you
my hot
agreed
Look
to
down,
it.
You know, and he got this here big kitchen match out, like this here. And he's smoke coming up, you know, and he's... I told him to stop.
So
I got
you're
down from the
mad
chair, so he
that
said,
you
"Bet I will."
actually have to
When?
pay
Yes,
for
we
something
understand.
you
Well, I had to make it
asked
out. Figured I'd
for.
take care of the tip, too. Wasn't a very good shine. Come right down to it, $0.50 was too much. All that smoke. Next thing I know, he said the shine was $5. $5 almost climbed right down top of the place. I couldn't believe my ears. Can you imagine $5
Well,
for
you
a shine?
did you ask
You
him
sure
for the
that they didn't
price?
have a card showing the prices of the shines?
Well, I don't think they did. At least ways I didn't notice it. Does that make
Wow.
a difference?
Is this really
I told
the
you
big
this has
fraud
happened
of the
before.
title?
City Council passed an ordinance that all shoe shine parlors have to have a sign showing their prices. Now, this place
Back
doesn't
when
have
the
a sign
biggest
in
problem
town. If they list the
facing
price
the
of
Los
imported
Angeles
wax
City
shine,
Council was overpriced shoe shining.
and if we'll point out the price
Those
of
were the days.
Just all right. And I got a lot of important appointments. I can't spend all day in here. I'm tired.
That's why I came in here,
Excuse me.
because I don't have time to tell you about this right
All
now.
right, sir.
Wow. I am a pirate
This is Bunko
king.
Fugitive, isn't it? That's what it says on the door.
Yes, sir, that's right.
And I want to give myself up. I'm tired of running. I haven't got any place to go.
You want to tell me what this is all about?
I gave him every nickel I had. I haven't even got enough money to go home. All I want is enough to eat on and get back home. I gave him everything.
Yes, sir, I don't think I understand.
I gave him all the money I had. He said it'd be all right.
Wait a second. That's the priest from the Christmas episode, Big Little Jesus.
The man who walked into our office identified himself as Martin Dietrich. He told us he was broke and that he was hungry.
He's a
Turned to shoe
priest
shine
turned
parlors and waited for
pirate.
other officers for investigation, and then we took Dietrich across the
That's
street
the
to a cafe.
pirate.
I'm from Chicago. I work for a wholesale drug
Chicago,
company. I had come out here on
Chicago.
business. Got in last Saturday.
That'd be August 7th.
Yeah, the 7th. Got in at 8:45.
So he's either a pirate king or Nick Fury, agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I looked the town over.
Woo! There's the crossover I want to see. Dragnet crossed over with S.H.I.E.L.D. Come on. There have been Dragnet comics. Make it happen, Marvel.
Go ahead. Just sat there for a few minutes. I didn't pay any attention to him. Busy reading the paper, you
I never pay attention to anyone who's reading the paper. No one. It's not like it's commonly used to cover up suspicious activity or spying.
Well, then he asked me for a match.
A match?
I gave him one, told him to keep
That
track.
diabolical genius!
Next thing I know, we're in a big conversation. Turns out he's from Chicago, too.
I see. Did he tell you his name?
Said it was Gabriel Bush. Told me he was in the wholesale liquor business. Said he was
Sounds
out here on a
made
summer
up
trip,
to
picked
me.
up on the Frank I went right along with him. Seemed like such a nice fella.
But then again,
Well-dressed,
you seem
cultured.
pretty made up, too.
Even knowing it, you sure wouldn't figure him for what he was.
What was that, sir?
A narcotic addict.
Were you sure about
How
that?
you,
I should be. Cost me over $3,000 to find out.
What?
You want to go on, sir?
Wait,
Well,
wait.
like I told him, we
Did
got
you
to
ask
talking
him?
about Chicago.
Are you a
Like I said,
narcotic
we knew
addict?
the same people back there.
Well, I only answered that question for
Then we went over to get our
$3,000.
baggage.
Okay, here's a
Ran up and
check.
walked outside. I was standing there waiting for a cab, and this Bush fella asked me where I was staying. He said maybe we could get together for dinner. See, this is my first trip out here. Bush said he'd made it several times before, and he knew the place pretty good. Told me to show me the
I'm
town.
always just
I
going
told him I didn't have
out.
any place to stay. He
I'm
asked
just
me
going
to
out
go
to
his
dinner
hotel
with
with
people
him.
I have.
Said something
I
about a
don't know.
convention in town, and rooms were pretty hard to get, but I could stay with him until I found a place. Well, he unpacked his bag.
Wait. You came
Guess
all
I
the
should
way
have
out
noticed
here and
something
didn't
then.
already
Yeah.
have a room.
What do you mean?
Wow.
When he took the
Again,
stuff out of his
the
bag, he acted like he
1950s
didn't want me to
were
see
a
what he
much
was
simpler
doing.
time.
But he did it in a funny way, so I couldn't miss noticing it. You know what I mean?
I think I do.
Well, he went in the bathroom, stayed in there for a couple of minutes, and then when he came out, he had his sleeve rolled up. He had a piece of cotton on his arm, like when you give a transfusion. You know, here?
Yeah.
He had this little leather case.
So he
When
was
went to
pretty
put it
much the
away, he dropped
worst
it.
at
He spilled the stuff
covering
in it all
up
over
his
the floor.
addiction.
I should have gotten out right then. Right there, if I'd have had any brains, I'd have gotten out.
What was in the case?
Yeah, I have to
Stuff for
agree with
taking
you there.
narcotics.
You're,
Hypodermic needle, all
you
the stuff.
deserved
What'd
to
he
be
say when he
ripped
dropped
off if
He
you
just
were
tried to
still
laugh it
going
off.
along with this guy
Then
after
he told me he
that.
was a diabetic, said he had to take insulin shots. About that time, the
Insulin?
other two guys
What?
came in.
He
They knocked on
insulin
the
isn't
door and
injected
gave
there.
back
What
a
the?
lot of men. They had guns and told us to get our hands up. Said they were policemen.
Do they have any kind of identification?
Yeah, badges. Showed them to us. And then they started to question Gabe.
What these two men want?
Said Gabe was a narcotic addict. Said they'd been after him for a long time, that they'd gotten word from the Chicago police that he was coming out here.
Okay,
Told me
but
they'd been
how does
following
that
us since we got
involve
off the
you?
train.
I
Been
mean,
following us all the time.
What'd they do then?
they can't
Took
prove.
us downstairs and put us in a
Just
car.
remember, just
They were
because
gonna take
somebody
us
you
to jail.
just met is doing drugs, that doesn't mean the police
I
can
tried to
prove
talk to them,
you're
tell them I
doing
didn't have any part
drugs.
what Gabe was doing. I didn't
You
even know
know,
about
some,
the narcotics.
use
One
some
of them said
common
they knew that.
sense.
That you weren't involved in it, huh?
Yeah, then the other one opened up the glove compartment of the car and took out a microphone. Called into police headquarters. Gave him Gabe's name and mine, said they had us in custody and were bringing us in. I kept asking the one guy in the back with me to let me go, let me out of the car.
Yeah.
Well,
One fella
wouldn't
said
they
that if I could
still
afford to
have to
take care
just
of all the
question him
policemen who
just
knew
to,
that I'd
you
been
know,
picked up,
clear it
maybe
up
they
and
could
get his
fix it.
statement on
The other
paper?
one, the one in the front seat, said
I
it wasn't
mean-
a good idea that they should book me. They got in a discussion about it. The one guy wanted to let
Oh,
me go.
for
the
crying
other one
out
said
loud.
not to.
You didn't.
Finally, the one with me in the back seat won out. I gave him all the money.
Oh,
I had.
yes, you did.
$3,350.
Now, the badge
Okay,
you
this
showed
guy
me
isn't
showed
Nick
you.
Fury,
Did it look like
because
this
Nick
one?
Fury would never be this stupid.
So, I was so worried I didn't look real close at it. I think it was the same.
Oh, for crying out
Not the one in the
loud.
front seat, the one who wanted to let me go said his name was Lang.
I'm
Said he
sorry
was
if
a
this is
sergeant.
just a
Tell
lot
you
of
where
me
he worked?
reacting, but
Just
I'm watching this
narcotics
live
and
with
drugs.
you folks,
He
and
gave all his money in cash.
I'm a little taken aback by
All
this.
of it. You know him? You know these two officers?
No, sir, we don't.
He said they
Yeah,
were
well,
policemen.
I think there are
Badges,
something
the
like
police car,
I
even the
think
radio.
there was something
Will you
like
show us the
5,000
hotel where this
officers in the
Sure,
Los
but I don't
Angeles
understand
PD,
all
so
this.
that
The
doesn't
other two
mean
policemen
anything.
said that if I gave them the money, everything would be all right. They said they could fix it up. Now, I don't want any trouble. All I want is enough money to get home. They said they'd fix the whole thing up. They told me there wouldn't be any
well-
trouble. No trouble.
Yes, sir.
So,
You think they're real cops?
I wouldn't know, but they're wrong about one thing.
What's that?
There's going to be trouble.
yeah. Given that this is the LAPD, they could
Well,
very
52
well
p.m.
be real
We took the
cops.
victim, Martin Dietrich, back to the city
Internal
hall.
Affairs-
We got in touch with
Internal
Lieutenant
Affairs
Iannone,
Division.
Internal Affairs Division.
This is
We
what
filled him in
happens
on what
every
had
time.
We started an immediate check of all police officers in the city and the county.
Okay, that could have a different...
Working from the description we'd gotten from the victim, we notified the narcotics detail and they went to work on it. A local and an APB were gotten out on the suspects. We checked the name Gabriel Bush through R&I. But when the mug shots from the packages we came up with were shown to Dietrich, he was unable to give us an identification.
But then again, I
3:15
don't
p.m.
see where...
We drove the victim out to the hotel where he told us
Hold
the
on.
shakedown had occurred. We talked to the cashier at the hotel. She told us that the bill for the room had been paid by Gabriel Bush at 2:15 the afternoon of the shakedown, 3 hours after Martin Dietrich had turned over the money to the thieves. She told us that the bill had been paid with cash and that she could give us no further information on the man. We obtained the registration card the suspect had signed when he checked into the hotel.
Can my mustache
In the usual
help
processing
at all?
of the card by hotel employees, it had been handled so much that lifting fingerprints from it was impossible. The card was turned over to Don Meyer in handwriting to be checked.
Yeah, he has very bad
The
handwriting,
victims started to look
especially
through
his
the photographs of
cursive
police officers.
U,
Lieutenant Ionone's
which
preliminary
looks almost like an
investigation had failed
X.
to turn up any police officers who matched the description of the shakedown men.
Guess who? We're going to be
At
playing Guess Who.
1:26 a.m., the
We
victim
entertained him
finished
with a
looking
game
at
of
the
Guess Who.
last picture without finding the men who'd claimed that they were police officers. A check with the Officers from Narcotics Division netted us nothing.
What are you
They were
wearing?
still checking their sources of information to help us in coming up with a lead. We
Really?
checked out of the office, and Dietrich spent the night at Frank's house.
Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
The following morning, Wednesday, August 11th, 8:04 a.m., Frank and I met with Chief Detective Stad Brown.
Well,
The
where are
50,
you?
they complain about our obesity problem, but
We checked the
if you ask
files, we're
me,
pretty
the
sure that they aren't
50s was the era
How
of
about
the
narcotics?
doughy
You come up
guy.
with anything yet?
I mean,
Not yet.
look at
Still working on it.
look at all
Add it
these
up, haven't got
characters.
anything. Right.
Pretty close, Chief.
You know
And
how
the
I feel
boxy
on this kind of
suits.
thing. I want it stopped. Every time these guys take a mark, they're putting every policeman in the world in a bad spot. Right off, we got to
Every policeman in the world, because everyone in the world hears about this.
Later.
Johnny DeBetta standing by. Use anybody else you need, but clean this thing up.
Yeah.
Got any idea how they made the mark?
Well, the story we got doesn't help much. Dietrich was having a cup of coffee, and they approached him.
I don't know how these con men work it. They can spot a man with a bankroll 5 miles off. The time he
Well,
walks up, they got a new dot
maybe
worked out
if
and ready
they
to go to
weren't
work.
stuffing their
That's
pockets
not
full of
bad.
$3,000. I mean, that's got to make them
Where do you go
bulge
from
a bit.
Well, we're getting descriptions out to all the hotels, warning them about the racket, asking them to call us if this Bush fella registers again.
Doesn't seem he'll use the same name again.
No reason not to. He doesn't know we're onto him.
I suppose so.
Unless, of course, this guy
Last night might
wanted
work.
wanted
Needs to be something
some
to
kind
start
of
on.
receipt or, you know,
Figures that the only men
proof
who
from
go
the
for
police
this
that he
dodge
wasn't
got
going to be
responsible
bothered.
positions in their hometowns. If they didn't, they wouldn't care about being brought down here along with Bush, right?
That follows.
They got to be from out of town so the con men can get rid of them fast.
Yeah.
Now, this Dietrich, he was picked up in a coffee shop near the station, right?
Yeah.
And if you're going to pick your man up, that's the place to do it. Try to nail him while they're setting a mark.
At
Yeah,
a
might work.
coffee
Be
shop.
better if one of us was the mark.
That's what I had in mind. You got any good luggage, Joe? Expensive looking?
Well, I got a set that somebody gave me last Christmas. Looks
Yeah.
good.
We'll try it then.
Thanks
Then,
very
we'll work with
much,
the Keep it there on
Frank.
Friday from the time he gets off the train.
You
Yes,
know
sir.
I never
Yeah.
leave L.A.
Here's a
I never
timetable.
even leave the police
Tomorrow morning you
station.
start riding the train.
When was I ever going to use luggage? Frank. Is he gonna, so they're actually going to try to pull that George Costanza thing from that episode of Seinfeld.
Thursday, August 12th. I drove out to Pasadena. At 8:12 a.m., I caught
Tell
the
'em
train
that you're
on the
from
flat
Little
stop
Rock,
between
Arkansas.
Depot and Los Angeles.
From Little
At
Rock,
8:45 a.m., the train pulled into the station. I picked up my luggage and left the terminal.
Really?
From there, I walked over to the coffee stand the victim Martin Dietrich had told us about.
Well, you're bound to
Where
run
I
into
sat, I
him.
could
After
see
all,
Frank
you're
and
pretty.
Sergeant John
You're
DeBetta
the
farther down
only
the counter.
tourist in all of L.A. Right?
I waited an
It's
hour.
not like there are.
During that
It's not like
time,
there are
no
tens
attempt
of
had been made to
thousands of
approach
other
him.
people for
I
him
looked for
to
anyone matching the
victimize.
description of the suspect Bush, but if he was there, I didn't see him. At 10:15
But
a.m.,
then
we
again,
called
I
off the
fell asleep,
operations for
so.
the day. On Sunday, August 15th, I went through the same procedure.
Of course, if they had been hanging out at this place, they would have seen me coming in every day with my luggage and might have gotten suspicious.
You mind if I sit down here?
No, go right ahead. Here, I'll get my hat out of the way.
I'll get it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Since you're
Well,
not
I was going to put
California,
it on the
hardly
table
anybody
so
out here
I
wears a
could
hat.
keep an eye on it,
So-
but thanks for stealing
Yeah.
my hat.
Where are you from?
Chicago.
Take the
Not
key.
Little Rock,
Yeah, I just thought
Arkansas?
I'd have a cup of coffee before I start out to find a hotel.
Guess I ought to introduce myself. I'm Gabriel Bush. My friends call me Gabe.
My name's Joe Friday.
Hey,
Did you just get in, too?
Yeah, I work for a wholesale liquor company.
Are
So,
you a friend
Oh,
of
well,
Dorothy,
where are your offices?
if you know what I
Main Street. We
mean?
got a little trouble with our West Coast office, so the boss sent me out to see if I can straighten it out. What are you doing here?
What kind of business and pleasure?
What line you in?
Machine tools?
Uh-huh. How long you gonna be in town?
I'm leaving Tuesday.
Machine
Doesn't give you a lot of
tools,
time
and
here.
he's
You
in
know anybody in
business
town?
and pleasure.
Yes, you're not a soul.
I'm going to leave you
What'd you
to
say you
draw
were
your own
I'm not staying any
conclusions
place. I
about
haven't
what
got a place.
profession
Thought I'd go over the staff.
Joe
Well, you're not
here
gonna
is
get there.
claiming
Matter of
to
fact,
be a
you're gonna
part
have a rough
of.
time getting in any place. There's a big convention in town. There just aren't any rooms to be had. I made my
Yeah, I
reservation.
know. It gets that
The offside
Comic-Con
here.
gets worse every
That
year.
Tell you
And
what,
this time they've
I'll
got
go to my
both
hotel.
Josh
You can park your
Whedon
luggage there, and I'll get in touch with a couple of
and
friends here
Stephen
see what we can do.
Moffat.
That's pretty nice of you, but I don't want you to go to any trouble. I'll find a place, all right.
Sweaty
Trouble, I'll
cosplay
get rid of all
girls.
Chicago and stand out in the cold.
I can't swing a
Boys
dead
can
cat
find
without
you
hitting them.
Isn't a matter of fact, I'll talk to the clerk where I'm staying. Might even be able to fix you up there. I do a lot of business there. They'll do what they can.
Yeah.
Sure, nice of you. You sure it's no trouble?
Not at all. Come on.
Yep, there's nothing suspicious here.
Is this all your luggage? Just the one bag?
Yeah, that's all.
Well, let's shove off. We'll get your room and we're all
You
set.
shove off!
Order anything?
No, I'll grab something at the hotel. Say, you got anything planned for tonight?
No, nothing special.
Good. I know a great place uptown. Good food and great music.
Sounds all right.
Yeah.
It is.
No, I sure appreciate
nothing,
Think about it. Who knows?
nothing,
Maybe you'll be able to do something for me
you know,
sometime.
homoerotic about this whole
Maybe I
scene.
can.
Yeah, nothing. Yep, guys that
We
are...
walked out of the coffee stand and took a cab to a hotel out on Wilshire
I
Boulevard.
hoped he didn't turn out
Johnny Bennett followed us.
to be a con man because he was so cute, and I was looking forward to our date that night.
After we'd registered, we went upstairs. All the time, he kept
Yeah,
up
back
with
in the
conversation about how difficult it was to get a hotel room.
You know, this doesn't prove
The bellboy left
anything
our
about
bags in the
Joe
room and
because
asked if we wanted them open.
back in the
Which made it
50s,
apparent to both the boy
married
and to me
couples
that he was the
were
only one
forced to
with
have
open his
twin
suitcase.
beds too, so...
Bush unlocked his
doesn't
bag on the
prove a
bed
thing.
and snapped it open. He took out a small leather case, trying to
Whoop.
keep me from seeing it, and at the same time making
Yeah, that's
sure
why
that
he
I did.
tossed it out there.
He went into the
Yeah,
bathroom.
subtle. Real subtle.
After a few minutes, he came out. He'd taken off his coat, and his left shirt sleeve was rolled back. He had a small piece of cotton on
And
his arm.
that's when we got to the loving.
Feel a lot better now.
What's the matter? Something wrong?
Oh, no, nothing at all. You see, I'm a diabetic. I have to take insulin shots.
Oh, I see.
I'll put the stuff back in the suitcase and we can start looking for room for you.
Good. Oh, here, I'll give you a hand with that.
Don't worry about it. I can get it.
Oh, that's
Got a
good.
spoon.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know you used a spoon for insulin.
There is
I
no
got it.
spoon.
Wait a minute. Let me put this stuff away.
Didn't you see the Matrix?
Police officer, you're under arrest. What for?
What?
We haven't done anything.
Narcotics.
What do you mean breaking in here like this? You got no right to do that.
I'd knock it off, Bush. We've been after you for a long time. We finally nailed
Wow.
it. All about it.
This other fellow a cop, too?
Yeah, this is my partner, Roger Silby.
Well, listen, I have no part in this. I just met the guy. If you want him, okay, but don't tie me in with him.
Too bad, mister. Get your coat.
Where are we going?
Downtown, we got to book you.
But I had no part in this. I tell you,
Yeah,
I just met
well,
this guy just this morning down at the depot.
At
I
least
just
if
met
they
him.
book
I'm not
you,
mixed
you
up
can
in this.
then
You gotta
call
believe
your
me.
lawyer.
My company
That's
finds out it'll cost me my
that's
job.
a
Now, you
little
guys got to give me a break.
You should have thought about that before, mister. A little late now.
before
Don't you
talking
understand
to a
if my boss hears
dirty
about this,
drug
he'll ban me.
addict. This is
Come
the
on, why don't you give the guy
50s.
a break? He's
We
selfish.
line up
Just met him.
scum
He's got
like
no
you and
yeah.
shoot him in the
That's right.
back of the
Next
head.
time you'd be more careful who he bums around
And the
with.
thing,
Now,
people
let's go,
want,
please.
some
Give him a
people
break.
look at the
You guys are
50s
all
as a
like
golden
equal
age they
and
want to
exact.
go back to.
This isn't right. Let's go. We're taking you.
What's the charge?
We'll tell you in jail.
Actually, I think they legally
The two
have
men
to
had
tell
shown
you the
us
charge
badges
when you
we
ask them
came in.
there, so...
They flashed them by so fast that there was no way of taking a good look at them. They told us to get our things together. The plan was that I'd go with the suspects and give them the marked money when they asked for it. After that, they'd be taken into custody. Once the currency was in their possession,
Well.
we could prove extortion, a felony.
Then we'd get to break out.
On the way out of the hotel lobby, I
rubber
indicated
hose.
to Frank and Tabetta, who were staked out across the street, that we had the right men. We walked down to an alley.
Such a clever, subtle signal, a nod to the people right across the street. Only a true master spy could spot such a thing.
We're making a mistake here. We'll let the judge worry about that.
I'll call in and tell him we're coming in.
Right.
Or how about the DA, since he has to agree to charge him?
Car 12-7, 12-7. We have two prisoners in custody. We're taking them downtown for booking.
They're not prisoners, they're suspects. A good night.
All
Yeah.
right, mister, get in. We
These
got a long
are...
ride.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And we would have gotten away with it, too, if Dragnet wasn't one of the
After that,
most
it's
popular
up to the
shows
court.
on
Yeah, but don't turn
television
me
at
loose,
this
will they?
point.
I don't know. We got a big drive on now about narcotics. Courts are getting pretty rough. Had a guy up just last week. Caught him in a car with another fellow who was smoking marijuana. This one guy didn't even know it was tea, and they really nailed him. Hey, how long did they
What?
keep Jansen?
You mean on that T-rap last week?
Yeah.
5 years.
See? They're really getting rough.
Yeah, but I didn't have anything to do with this.
Tell the court. But we know you're clean. We got word about Bush here coming out from Chicago. Department back there called us. They figured he was out here to make a buy.
they-
Been after him
yeah.
for a long time. You just happened to be in the
Yeah,
wrong place at the
yeah,
wrong
the war on
time.
drugs might be
That's the
going
way
a
it is.
little far when you
Come
have
on, get
police
in the car.
departments calling up
Well,
each other
the deal
to,
is gonna
oh,
roll.
this guy
You
who
know
we
that I'll
think
lose
may
my
be
job
on
if
drugs, he's coming down your way.
I don't know. We'd like to help you out, but you can see there isn't any way.
There
Watch this.
isn't?
Sylvie?
Yeah?
How about it? Can we just let him go?
You tell me how we're going to get away with it. How are we going to explain when he isn't there to be booked?
Look, he's a nice guy. I don't want to see him get into trouble for something he didn't do.
Neither do I, but how do you figure to square it?
Well,
Suppose we could take care of the
we
watchman.
could just
Forget
shoot
we
this
called
guy.
in.
We could just
Taking
shoot
care
them
of him is
both and
expensive.
bury them in the desert.
How much money you got on you?
That's more pleasant than prison, right?
Not much. You raise any more? Well, not without sending home. I can't do that. How about it, Sylvie? 2,500 enough?
Won't go very far. A lot of people to take care of.
That's all he's got.
A lot of
Well, it ain't enough.
bribes.
Let's book it.
Wow.
We've been riding together a
You're
long
sure
time, Sylvie.
these aren't
This is the
real
lousiest deal
officers
we've
with
ever
the
had to pull. We
LAPD?
take the 2,500, explain to the commander, it'll work. Let's get the guy a chance.
I guess
If anything
anybody
goes
from
wrong, it's your
Chicago
man.
is
Yeah, I'll
used
take
to
it.
doing this,
Okay.
paying
Gotta take
off
Bush
the
in.
cops.
All right. Give me the money.
Sure.
You give me the whip. Give me the money. I'll give you the whip.
That's all I got. Okay.
Ugh.
All right, mister, get going. And
I
how
mean,
we
in
do
the
it, get
world,
back.
cops don't make
All right,
that
do that.
much.
Would you mind dropping me off downtown?
This isn't a taxi service, mister. You're coming out of this smelling like a rose. Don't press your luck.
Yeah, well, if you just drop me off near First and Spring, that's all. What's there? City Hall. You're under arrest.
Ha! And that's why Joe Friday was one of the biggest badasses of the 1950s. For all he knows, these guys could be armed, and he doesn't have a gun, but still.
We got in touch with
Well,
the victim,
if I go by
Mark.
City Hall, you're
Down
under
to City Hall to
arrest.
give us an
Haha.
identification. That's them.
That's what we
We'll sign
want
the
to see.
complaint. Bet I will. I want to see
Yeah, can't wait for that two-way glass to be made so that they can't threaten the witnesses to be invented so they can threaten them.
Imagine being so dumb you pick a cop for a mark.
You went along with it.
Ah, you dumb Gabe, face it.
All right.
Wow.
You too.
Don't give
I
me no
swear
worries,
by
Scott.
my
You got me in
eye,
custody.
my
That's
one
enough for you.
eye,
I'll go when I'm ready.
my one good eye, I swear it's that.
Come on, Lang.
You know something, cop? I think I play the part better than you do.
I'm going to tell you something, mister, and I want you to remember it. As a con man, you're a flop. You wouldn't know a mark if he came up and hit you in the mouth. Besides being confidential,
Except
I'm lying to the
for
worst kind of
Visca.
liar. You go around
Yeah,
telling people you're a cop,
yeah, I
like a
just
tin
insulted
badge and
you,
right off you're the
witness.
law.
Yeah, I
I've been
just
in
said
this
you're
business a
so
long time. I've seen
stupid
a lot of
you
fine
got
folks come
conned
across
by a
this.
guy who
Crooks
wouldn't
like
know
you
a
take
mark.
old women, cheap crumbs with a handkerchief switch in the smack game, but at least they don't try to hide behind a phony badge. We don't know how many people you pulled this cheap deal on, but we're going to find out. We'll get every name there is, and we'll make you on all of them. I live in this town. I work here, and I like it. There are 4,000 other men in the city who feel the same way.
The classic
You know, we're trying to
Joe
prove to the
Friday
law here to
speech,
protect people, not
folks.
to cut them down.
You're getting it
You
here.
spend every day of the year running up a good score, and you come along and tilt it. Every one of those people you
The
hit thinks he's been
two
taken by a
character,
cop. The cop who's
he's one of
handed reaching
two
for money that
people who
wasn't
can
his.
deliver a speech like
Yeah, you
this
keep wearing that grin, Lang.
Yes.
See if you can
in
still make it
TV
when we turn the key
history.
on you.
The other is Captain
Now let's go.
Jean-Luc Picard. I think they both went to the same school because there must have been a class on how to deliver these speeches.
That all you need me for?
Yeah. Thanks
Now
a
I
lot,
have to
Mark.
get
We'll
back
be
to
in
my
touch.
to my day job. My congregation is waiting.
All those people that bunch took. They're always going to think those guys were real cops.
Yeah.
They're never going to know. Of course, you can't blame them.
Yeah, because the real
How they got
cops
to me.
never pull
Guess
anything
there
like
isn't any way to
this.
tell. The guy flashes
Yeah, or
a gun.
yeah, they never
How you gonna
extort
tell?
money from
Doesn't
you.
run
They
away.
just
How you
they're
gonna
just
know
gonna
he's a fake?
the real
Let me ask you
LAPD
for
will
money.
just beat you to death while you're laying on the ground for having the wrong skin color. So that's now I got to get back to now I got to go beat some minorities. Right after I have a healthy cigarette. That'll make my day better. I can taste the nutrition right now. Well, I suppose. Mr. Cameraman? Hello? Somebody want to yell cut? Thank you. But those two guilty guys, once they get out on parole, you be sure to lynch them. Lynch them good.
Trial was held in Department 92, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Where am I?
The suspect was tried and convicted of violation of Section 518 PC, extortion, which is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 1, nor more than 10 years.
Well, yeah. No, it's more pleasant.
Roger Silby was tried and convicted of the same charges and is now serving his term in the state penitentiary, San Quentin, California.
But at least they're together. We're
Gerald
all
Lang
so
was tried and
happy
convicted of the same
together.
charges and is now serving his term in the state penitentiary, San Quentin, California.
Wow, that's awfully sweaty. Where did you have those hands, Jack? Before you did that? 'Cause, boy. Well, hope you enjoyed it. I'm not sure how good this was, since I had never... This is actually the rare Dragnet episode I had never seen before. I thought it was one that I had seen before, but then I started recording and I realized that I hadn't seen it. So, hope you enjoyed it.